They're locked away in this room, but Jesus appears. He appears through locked doors. And there's something that I think that he is communicating here. He's communicating that he's resurrected. It's obvious that he's resurrected. He's appearing in a locked room. He's showing and communicating that he is glorified and exalted. He's in a glorified and exalted, resurrected body, and so he's appearing before them. And the reason that I say glorified is because our resurrection is compared to Jesus' resurrection, the resurrection that we have a hope for in the end. That is connected to Jesus' resurrection, and this is how our resurrection is described in 1 Corinthians. It's described as, our life is described as sown in dishonor, but raised in glory. Our bodies sown in dishonor, raised in glory. And so I say that Jesus is resurrected in a glorified and exalted body at this time. And he walks right through a locked door, or appears on the other side of a locked door. And while maybe you might say, okay, but that's not too dissimilar from other things that he's done in the past. I mean, he's done miracles that have been way more impressive than walking through a locked door, But, like one time he walked through the midst of a crowd to avoid danger. But we've seen this since the resurrection. He's veiled his identity to Mary Magdalene. And then we didn't read about this, but we know that on the road to Emmaus, he veils his identity to a few disciples there. And then now we see that through a locked door, he just appears or walks through. And so I think what he's trying to communicate, I think it's very clear that all of these things kind of seem unnecessary compared to when he walked through a dangerous crowd or when he did other miracles. This is kind of unnecessary, except for if you know that what he's trying to communicate is that he's in a glorified, exalted body. So that's exactly what's going on. He's trying to communicate that he is resurrected, but something is different. Something is different. And so he's glorified in the midst of being exalted. And so he does that, and then he shows his hands and his side. He shows his hands where the nails went through. He shows his side where the spear pierced him to prove that he was dead. And this part, I think, he shows this. He's shown them that he's glorified, but now he's showing them that he is actually in a resurrected body. He's not a mere spirit. This isn't just a ghost that appears. This is Jesus in his resurrected physical body. And now we also know that later on we'll see that he even eats. So again, he's in a physical body. But the thing is, he's communicating that he's glorified, he's resurrected in a glorified physical body. And he does this because it's very important that we believe that he is in a glorified physical body. Because if we don't trust, if we don't believe that he is, like I said, in a glorified physical body, then we have no hope of our resurrection in our glorified physical bodies. We have no hope if he didn't do it, because our hope is linked to his glorified physical body, resurrection. And so I know that there are some teachers that will teach that it doesn't really matter what you believe about the resurrection, whether he really physically rose or not. If a teacher does that, they are clearly a false teacher. You cannot believe that Jesus did not resurrect in a glorified physical body. And he does this, and he presents this and communicates this very clearly through the actions that he showed as he entered into the room and showed them his hands and his side.